let's talk about the history of papacy and the challenges they face. Welcome to Echoes of the Past today, where we talk about history of anything under the sun and the moon. The rise of the papacy, from St. Peter to the first pope's first 5th century. The history of the papacy begins with St. Peter, one of Jesus Christ's 12 apostles. Peter was appointed by Jesus to be the leader of his followers, which laid the foundation for the papacy. Peter is believed to have been the first bishop of Rome, and his role as the spiritual leader of the early Christian community in Rome set the stage for the papacy. After Peter's martyrdom in 64 CE, the bishopric of Rome continued to grow in importance, particularly as Christianity spread across the Roman Empire. The bishops of Rome gradually came to be seen as the leaders of all Christians based on Peter's close relationship with Jesus and his role as the rock upon which the church would be built. By the time of the 4th century, Christianity had become the state religion of the Roman Empire under Emperor Constantine the Great. Constantine's Edict of Milan in 313 CE legalized Christianity, and he called for the First Council of Nicaea in 325 CE, a major event in Christian history. During this time, the papacy was solidified as the central authority of the Christian world, with bishops of Rome gaining increasing influence. The Middle Ages, the papacy and the power struggles 6th–14th century. The 6th century marked a critical time for the papacy, especially under Pope Gregory I, also known as Gregory the Great, who served from 590 to 604. Gregory greatly expanded the influence of the papacy, turning the papacy into a political power in addition to its spiritual role. He also sent missionaries to convert the Anglo-Saxons in England and wrote many theological works, greatly shaping the development of medieval Christianity. During the Middle Ages, the papacy often clashed with the secular powers of Europe. One of the most famous conflicts was the investiture controversy in the 11th century, which was a power struggle between the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor over who had the authority to appoint bishops. The papacy ultimately emerged victorious, asserting its authority over the church and its leaders. The 13th century saw the rise of the papacy's influence under Pope Innocent III in 1198 to 1216. Innocent III played a key role in expanding papal authority, and he called for the Fourth Crusade, which initially aimed to recapture Jerusalem but ended up sacking Constantinople, deepening the rift between the Eastern and Western churches. Renaissance and Reformation, the papacy's struggles 15th–16th century. The Renaissance brought great artistic and cultural growth to the papacy, with popes such as Pope Julius II commissioning works from artists like Michelangelo and Raphael, creating masterpieces like the Sistine Chapel. However, this period also saw increasing corruption within the church, leading to a growing dissatisfaction among the people. In the early 16th century, Martin Luther's 95 Theses sparked the Protestant Reformation, which aimed to reform what many saw as the corrupt practices of the Catholic Church, especially the sale of indulgences. Luther's ideas led to a split in Western Christianity, and for the first time, the papacy found itself in direct conflict with an emerging Protestant movement that rejected papal authority. The Counter-Reformation, led by figures like Pope Paul III and the Council of Trent 1545 to 1563, sought to address some of the issues raised by the Protestants and to reaffirm the power and authority of the papacy. This period also saw the creation of the Jesuit order, which played a key role in revitalizing Catholicism across Europe. The modern era, the time of reform, revolution, and global influence from 17th–19th century. The 17th and 18th centuries were marked by significant challenges to papal authority, both from internal reform movements and external political pressures. The French Revolution in 1789 was particularly challenging for the papacy, as revolutionary forces sought to curtail the power of the Church, even imprisoning Pope Pius VI. The 19th century saw the papacy confronted with modernity. The Risorgimento in Italy led to the unification of the country, and by 1870, the Papal States were absorbed into the new Kingdom of Italy, leaving the Pope without temporal power. This period also saw the rise of Pope Pius IX, who, in 1869, convened the First Vatican Council. One of its major decrees was the doctrine of papal infallibility, asserting that the Pope, when speaking ex cathedra on matters of faith and morals, is free from error. The 20th century, modernizing the Church from 1900 to 2000. The 20th century was a period of immense change for the papacy. Pope Pius XII, 1939 to 1958, led the Church through World War II, a difficult time during which the Vatican navigated the complex politics of neutrality while responding to the horrors of the war. However, his legacy has been controversial, especially regarding his actions during the Holocaust. Pope John XXIII, 1958 to 1963, became a symbol of the Church's move towards modernization with his call for the Second Vatican Council, 1962 to 1965. This council brought significant reforms, including reforms to the liturgy such as using the vernacular in Mass, a more open stance towards other Christian denominations, and improved relations with Jews and other faiths. The changes made during Vatican to reshape the Church for the modern world. The papacy in the 21st century, engaging with a changing world 2000 present. Entering the 21st century, the papacy faced new challenges. The rise of secularism, the sexual abuse crisis, and increased interfaith dialogue were key issues. In 2005, Pope John Paul II, one of the most beloved popes in modern history, passed away after a remarkable 27-year papacy. He is remembered for his role in the fall of communism in Eastern Europe, his efforts to improve relations with Jews and Muslims, and his advocacy for human rights. Following his death, Pope Benedict XVI, 2005 to 2013, took office, known for his theological conservatism and his efforts to address the Church's scandals. However, in a historic move, he became the first pope in over 600 years to resign in 2013, citing advanced age and declining health. Pope Francis, elected in 2013, is the current pope and the first from the Americas, Argentina. He has been a vocal advocate for social justice, environmental issues, and interfaith dialogue. His papacy has emphasized mercy, compassion, and inclusivity with a focus on the poor and marginalized. He has also worked to address the Church's sexual abuse crisis, though challenges remain. In addition, Pope Francis has brought attention to global issues like climate change, poverty, and migration, making him a prominent figure on the world stage. The future of the papacy. As the Catholic Church enters the 21st century, it faces new and evolving challenges, including the rise of digital communication, increasing secularism, and the shifting dynamics of global politics. The papacy continues to be an influential force, both spiritually and politically, and remains a symbol of continuity in a rapidly changing world.